is I want to go over the personal status correction menu on ThcTrust.org because finally I can say we are done over there. It's been a work in progress. Anybody who's, there's been some people who've been following THC Trust for many years. So, I think we used to call it the master file. Now it's the personal status correction menu. But I've continuously been putting things in there and taking it out. And I'm happy to say that today it is complete. And of course, I'm always going in the background, updating documents and templates as I learn. But the personal status correction menu is complete. I've reduced it down to the most fundamental steps, fundamental necessary steps, I would put it that way. And out of all of those steps, those 4 steps that I provided, 2 of them are the most significant. Recording your trust instrument, and lastly, and most importantly, the secured party creditor filing or the national filing. There was a time when I stated that, I'm not necessarily sure whether one needs a secured party creditor filing or not, but based on further research into redeeming our securities and discharging debts and Treasury Direct, the more I've done my research is the more I begin to see how the pieces all connect together. And I will tell you today that yes, I would highly recommend that you become a secured party creditor because if not, go back to whatever you were doing because that is the core of what this is all about, right? You trying to get your equitable remedy in this system that has taught you everything about money, but you've never known money because this isn't a money system. It's a credit and a debit system. So this secured party puts you in a position to actually benefit from your estate, for lack of a better term. But I don't want to ramble on, but I do want you to know, and especially members of THCTrust.org, the personal status correction menu is finished, right? Everything is there that needs to be there. Now, of course, you have to take the trust templates and modify them, make them personal based off of your family, based off of your specific objectives. But the core fundamentals have been put in place. So we're going to take a overview of it in this video. We're going to take just a general overview, and then I'll make some more videos moving forward, actually going through the documents and explaining why they've been put together the way that they have been put together. And feel free to ask any questions. You can ask the questions under this video. I also have the Telegram live going. Nobody's in there right now, but when you jump in there, at any time you can stop and interject and ask a question. So that being said, we're about to get to it. Let me check my messages here. Somebody contacted me or tried to. Oh, okay. So to follow along, you visit the website www.thctrust.org. Once you're there, members already know you can log in. If not, scroll down right here, look for this little orangish writing. It says create an account. Click that. Go ahead and create your account. So we're logged in. Once you log in, I really encourage you to support THC Trust Advocacy Group. Help me be able to sustain myself while I put these things in place for us. And of course, the support benefits you because the membership gives you the complete access to the templates and everything that we discuss. So I do have the monthly membership plan, but I encourage you to get the yearly membership is $225. Then you have access for at least a year. Get the $225 subscription. and you will be able to follow along with me today. So I just clicked the personal status correction menu. This is the conclusions that I've come to with, let's say, a total of 13 years of research, right? Being through the ups and the downs, but the one of the best things that I did, and I didn't do this at the very beginning, but maybe, somewhere into the research, I started really taking good notes. And I do have notes on a lot of things right now, especially everything that we talk about on the website. I have notes, and that helps me because it might be 2 years later and I come across some information, and then I can go directly to the notes of where I left off in my study on that information. Approaching things like that has, just allowed me to get a better grasp of what I think the big picture is. And then when you understand what the big picture is, you don't have to just do all type of random stuff, not knowing what works, but hoping that something did work, because everything that you do has an objective. And if it doesn't have an objective, it isn't being done. That's the way we're approaching the personal status correction. So it's only 4 steps, right? It's only 4 steps. Those 4 steps in a nutshell are name and address correction. That's the first step. The second step is other recordings and affidavits, which is mostly optional, right? Because everybody has this one affidavit that they think they need that affidavit to tell everybody they're alive, and whatever affidavits it is that you think you need, then that's the second phase. But for me, it's only 2 things: the declaration of my nationality, and it'll be explained why when we get to that part, but also the trademark, because one thing that makes our secured party creditor filing more enhanced is that we definitely focus on securing the proceeds of the trademark, meaning that the secured party is the owner of the source of the credit. And anytime somebody uses that trademark in a commercial manner, they have created a provision, or they have anytime somebody uses the trademark in commerce, the proceeds of that transaction has been secured by the lien, by the UCC1 lien. When you do your secured party creditor filing, that means that the proceeds of that transaction, or that means your signature in that transaction with that trademark, is secured property. Meaning you have a security agreement that already says you're entitled to it, and you have a lien that says you're entitled to it. So a secured party is in the proper position to redeem property, to redeem their signature, to redeem their securities that's out there. So your secured party creditor filing actually does play into redemptions. But overall, you'll see that as you go through the documents and you go through this personal status correction menu. So I'm going to just start at the top here, and we'll explain those steps when we get to them. The secured party creditor filing establishes one's claim, $100 billion worth, of title and interest in the proceeds and indebtedness of the estate. We also acknowledge that the name for the estate, such as John Alex Doe, is our trademark. Our trademark distinguishes our estate as the owner and the source of the credit in any given transaction. So I'm going to say it again. Think about yourself, right? It's your name that identifies the owner of the credit in any given transaction. But I'm not using the word name. I'm saying your trademark. Because what the term trademark means is it identifies the source of a particular good or service in commerce. And having a trademark is a right. So logic and reason shows me that in this system where there's no substance backing the currency, it's a credit and debit system, what matters is the creditors, the source of the credit. Every time something's happening, a bill, speeding ticket, promissory note, the objective is to obtain credit from a person. But so to protect my interests, I'm going to let the public know, let the world know that I have an exclusive right to use this trademark. But my secure party creditor filing is going to put the contract first in line, put the lien in place that I can secure the proceeds for the use of that trademark in commerce. So if you want to put it on some type of commercial instrument, it's all good because I'm going to get paid eventually. And I'm not talking about waiting for them to send a paycheck. That's where your redemption stuff comes in. But anyway, to stay on the topic and to stay on the subject, I know some people don't understand when the estate is such a general term. You know, so people get confused when I talk about the estate. When you hear me just say the estate, when I say the estate like that, what I'm talking about is the estate that was created when the child was born, or when you were born. Because when you were born, the birth certificate was issued, just to keep it simple, right? And the birth certificate identified an estate, a living estate, not a decedent's estate. I differ with people. People keep saying, "Oh, you're the dead." You know what? No. There'd be a decedent's estate when you pass form, but when you were born, the living estate was created. The birth record is evidence of that estate. And you know what else that estate is? If you look at like somebody's being charged with a crime, at the top of that indictment, they put the trademark the same way that it appears on a certificate of live birth, oftentimes. Not just with an indictment, with a lot of different things. So when I say estate, I'm referring to that too. When your name is put on the top of a ticket or some charging instrument, the name is the trademark. A trademark is property. Property is part of an estate, that living estate that was created. All of that stuff is owned by you. That's why part of this process, step 3, is putting the trust instrument on the record. The trust that controls the estate. And here's something else, a point that I'm going to make while I'm thinking about it. All of the extra documents that people, the UCC secure party creditor filing is a very specific filing that's been around for a while. I'm guilty of trying to modify it and changing it. I've done that in the past, and that was incorrect. Most of these other documents that people are just slapping under the UCC has no business there. The UCC is dealing with commerce, liens, that $100 billion surety bond, and securing the proceeds of the estate. And that's really it. Most of the extra documents that people are trying to give constructive notice to the public of, such as fee schedules, such as memorandum of law, even the trademark, the claim of the exclusive trademark right that I'm referring to. These things wouldn't be placed under your UCC. They will be recorded in your trust instrument, and the things that you want to give the public constructive notice of, those will be recorded with the trust instrument. And there's a lot of, maybe this conflicts with something that, somebody else told you or whatever. Well, ask them for their references, because I have my references, and they are actually on the screen here. When you log into this side of the website and you scroll down, there's references for everything I just said and everything that's written in here. So we're going to move right along. Let's see. Securing the proceeds of the trademark has the contractual effect of creating a provision for the secured party in every such transaction. So that means if I have a security agreement and I've already secured the proceeds of the trademark, and when I'm signing What I'm doing is I'm signing as an agent, right, or a officer, or in some capacity for the estate. I'm just stating that so you don't get confused. The source of the credit, from my understanding, is not so much the signature, it is the actual trademark that identifies the source of the credit, which is the estate. But the signature is the authorized representative, right? Signing off on the transaction per se. Okay. But what was I saying? Securing the proceeds of the trademark has the contractual effect of creating a provision for the secured party. So what I meant by that is when you do the secured party creditor, you have this lien on the property of the estate or the debtor. This lien securing the property and the indebtedness of the debtor. It also, in our filing, secures the trademark. It secures the use of these items in commerce. So in commerce, the UCC financing statement serves as a form of a title. Now I'm just specifically saying in commerce because in law that wouldn't be a title. But in commerce, that lien is a title. It's a title to the proceeds. So it's a title to the proceeds of the trademark. So what does that mean when somebody says, let me put your trademark at the top of this ticket and put some commercial obligations on here, whatever, now tell you to sign and sign off on it. So it means if you sign off on it, then also put your UCC 1-308, which means reservation of rights. And under that, put your UCC filing number that shows the proceeds of that trademark have already been secured, right? Make sure you write that under there because now you're saying, okay, this is all part of the contract. That's part of it too. So you didn't give them a general signature. You gave them secured property. And your property, it's now, so at some point you have to redeem that property. That's what your secured party creditor number under there indicates, that you have already secured the proceeds of that transaction for the amount that was owed to the estate. Does that make sense? So I'll be saying stuff like that over and over again, hopefully so you can understand what you have once you go through the personal status correction and you have these documents. When you complete the secured party filing, your trust is considered a secured party. Your property is collateral under the security agreement. Hold on, excuse me, 1 second. Slow down for a second and take a sip of my coffee. Okay. If nobody joins on the Telegram group in the next, I don't know, 10 minutes, I'm just going to go ahead and shut that part down. But that's not a problem because we're moving right along here under the personal status correction menu at ThcTrust.org. Again, if you're just tuning in and you're listening to this, make sure you go ahead and get your $225 yearly subscription or $32 a month so you can have access to all the templates that we cover. In this particular video, we're not really going over templates. We're just going over an overview, and then we'll do templates in a different video. So when you complete the secured party filing, the UCC one with the $100 billion bond and the security agreement, your trust is considered a secured party. Your property is collateral under the security agreement and listed on the financing statement to indicate an enforceable, equitable, or commercial lien on the property, which includes the bond. As a secured party, we must always reserve our rights and write our UCC 1 number beneath our signature in matters of commerce. We just talked about that. The 1099-A is for acquisition of secured property, when a lender gives money or property that has to later be returned or repaid. So, you know, I kind of asked myself the question, well, now that I know this, moving forward, anytime I sign a commercial authorization under my trademark, I'm going to put my UCC 1 secured party number under there, and I'm going to reserve my rights. But does that mean now that every time I didn't do that before, I can't redeem those securities because they're not necessarily secured? Well, my first answer to that is, we're going to make sure that our security agreement is written in such a way to cover those past debts, the present liabilities, and any liabilities that will happen in the future. We, THC Trust, see the SPC, or the secured party process, as a logical prerequisite to the redemption technology, which revenues the redeemed accounts, deposits, or securities to a Treasury Direct account in support of the national government, and the interest paid, when we say in support of the national government, because you redeem the debts, like redemption, you're redeeming the man from sin, you're redeeming the debts from the sin system, the Federal Reserve System, revenuing them into the Treasury Direct system, which is a total different system from the Treasury Direct system. The debt takes on a new form. It's no longer dollars. Now it's called 0% certificates of indebtedness. And those are used to purchase savings bonds, Treasury securities. And this is why I say redeeming the securities to Treasury Direct for the benefit of the national government, because you're supporting them by purchasing their debt. The interest paid from the securities, so when you purchase savings bonds and Treasury securities, they're held in your Treasury Direct account. But when they pay interest once or twice a year, or however it is, depending on whatever security it is, that interest goes into the public to a bank account. So that's how you can receive the interest in the public as a beneficiary, right? If that makes sense. And hopefully you can see the big picture. This is what we're doing. So we're preparing things. We're setting up the estate. We're setting up the trust that controls the estate by recording our trust instrument, doing our secured party creditor filing. And now we have to go do the redemptions after that. So that's what I'm going to be working on, right? That's where all my focus and attention is going to next. I've already laid out this path and, outlined the templates that I'm personally using for these endeavors.